We use the move command to move an object or a group of objects a distance that we specify. Now, in order to be able to better demonstrate this, I'm going to go to the Level 2 structural plan and just double-click on it. Now, we can zoom in here so we can see it a little bit better. Now, if we want to be able to move an object, you always have to select on it first. So select on the object, and when you do, you'll get your series of modify commands. Up here, you see that there's a command called move. It looks like a series of 4 little arrows. Well, if you click on that, it's then going to have you move this object by picking a base point first. So in this case, I like to pick a spot, usually somewhere along the object. In this case, just here will work just fine. Now I'm going to move over in one direction. In this case, I'm going to move over to the right, and I'm going to move this perhaps 7 feet. Well, as soon as you see this temporary dimension show up, and the temporary dimension is the dimension you see on the screen right now, which is automatically changing as I move the mouse. As soon as you see that dimension, you can type in a dimension. In this case, I'm going to do 7 feet. And you can see how this moved over 7 feet to the right. If I do the same command again, pick a base point. This time I pick just a little bit off of the object because it doesn't really matter. And I'm going to move over to the left. In this case, I'm going to move over perhaps 6 feet. And you can see how the whole object moves in that direction. Now, usually I like to keep my base point, which is that first spot that you click after executing the move command, fairly close to the object, just so it keeps it on the screen. It makes it easier for you to be able to see where these temporary dimensions are going to be at. So when it comes time to execute the move command, it moves really nice and smooth and you don't get any error messages generated. Also, another thing for you to know is that if you just move your mouse over an object that you have selected, you'll see that there's 4 different little arrows that show up there. That's the same icon that we're seeing here with the move command. So if you click and hold down when you see those 4 arrows, you can also move that object from side to side or up and down or wherever it is you'd like to move it to. And if you let go, it'll automatically move it to that spot. The only reason why I tend to not use that form of the move command as opposed to just a normal move command is usually if I've drawn something in, I usually know roughly where it's supposed to be at. And as a result of that, I know if I want to use move, I probably know this should be moved over 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot. And you can only do that using the normal move command as opposed to just holding down on the object and dragging it to wherever it is that you feel like dragging it to. Also, if you ever want to get out of a command, all you have to do is hit the escape key once in order to be able to get out of the actual moving part of the command, and a second time in order to be able to deselect the object altogether and be able to use a different command. One last thing to know is that if you want to be able to move a group of objects, you can do that too. All you have to do is either select on one object and then hold down the control key to select on multiple ones, or in this case, I just clicked out into space to deselect. Your other option is a window around the grouping of objects. You want to move this entire thing? You can use the move command at this point, pick a base point, and you usually like to pick it somewhere around the center of the selection area, and then move those objects wherever you feel like it. One last thing, I could type in a dimension, but I don't really feel like that. I just want to move it somewhere over here. So I'm just going to click out into space. So now you can see how it moved all those objects right to the location where I wanted them to be at. So the move command can be used to move existing objects. In the next exercise, we'll be using the copy command to create a duplicate of an existing object.